artist, and I want to introduce you to Ariel Art Gallery and Salon. I'm here to discuss some of the paintings and what inspired me to paint them. The first one I'd like to start with is The Theory of Proof. This is a painting that's depicting in other words, the Big Bang, okay? And the reason I say the theory of proof, because some people believe in only creationism, some people only believe in science. So I said, well, actually one proves the other. If in fact the universe, or all that we know, was started by a Big Bang, then my theory is that God spoke, put his hands together, and brought forth the universe as we know it. And so that's why I call it the theory of proof. The next painting is Into the Deep. And this is a depiction of a black hole in space. And if you look closely, you can see a pattern of the planets coming towards the black hole and going into the black hole, into space. The next one is The World Is Not Enough, Heaven Is My Goal, because we should, if we don't, I'd like to think that we would all like to strive for something greater than just material things that this world presents, and that we would strive towards something more spiritual, and which you might call it something else, but I call it heaven. It's a higher spiritual plane, because everything that we know that is of the world will not exist forever. And so we like to reach that higher plane, and this is an example of a representation of God's hands after he formed the earth and the universe as the backdrop. The next painting is called 5 Dimensions. I was inspired to do this because we know, or we see things in 3 dimensions, but who's to say that there aren't more dimensions? And my thing is there probably are. So I said I'll take it to 5 dimensions, and what I did was I painted the universe as we know, with the earth, the sun, and the moon, black holes in space, stars being born, other galaxies, shooting stars, planets racing across the galaxy. But also, in the 5th dimension, instead of black holes that take planets in, I imagined red holes that shoot planets out as they're born and just spray them across the universe. Also, I did a depiction of what I could imagine as 3 Earths in succession of one another in the 5th dimension. And also, if you'll notice, the 3 Earths have 4 suns, I'm sorry, 2 suns at the bottom and 2 suns at the top. They actually have no moons. Actually, you could say one acts as a moon for the other. In the future, I am going to do a little closer introspective of what each planet looks like and the life that's on the planet, so that'll be coming soon. The next one I'd like to talk about is a guitar case that I painted. I custom paint guitar cases, violin cases, or any I'll paint on anything, any surface, anytime. But in particular, I like painting guitar cases. This one was inspired by Jimi Hendrix and Spanish Castle Magic. Actually painted the castle, Queen Isabella, and you'd have to really look at the detail, but underneath Jimi Hendrix playing, I have the word magic. It's black on black, so it plays off of the light. And so it was not complete when I painted it. It was something missing. So I said from that era, we all knew the peace sign, And so I painted the peace sign, and I said, nah, that's still something missing. So I decided to paint a dove, which also represents peace. And at the very bottom of the case, I painted the iconic figure of Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock holding up his fingers at the peace sign. And that's what inspired that. This next one is a violin case that I did. There's a picture of my daughter, Jade, Ariel, playing violin on the case. And I also painted the sheet music to the Lord's Prayer. And of course, in the Lord's Prayer, you say in heaven and in earth. And so at the very top of it, I painted the heavens with the earth and the sun and the moon. And so that's where that came from. The next one is egret at sunset. It's basically just a silhouette of an egret at sunset and how they normally stand when they're waiting. A lot of times they might be feeding and they'll stand on one leg as they look around and observe. The next one is actually a cartoon I did for a client. He loves the Tasmanian devil. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to do that for him. And so I painted it, and it has the common figure of the spiral behind him, and I added a little blend of color to give it some more mystique, and it kind of draws you in. And so that's where I got that from. Okay, this next one is actually a timber wolf in the wild, and as you know, I like wolves a lot, and they're very intelligent. They have a sophisticated society, and the problem is that we encroach on their territory, which is detriment. It's to the detriment of wolves, and it's a shame because they're only doing what they were born to do naturally. And this depiction is titled Of Wolf and Man, and it was inspired by the Metallica song of Wolf and Man. I love that song. This is a timber wolf. He's creeping through the woods as he does. That's his habitat. And in the far background, it looks like flames, like the forest is in flame, which could be in part attributed to man, his encroachment on his territory, and for just the destruction that mankind can and does to wildlife. And I just wanted to bring attention to that. This next one is called Face Off. This was a sketch done by a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, Mario Odin. And he's really good, and I encourage him to do larger pieces on canvas and add a little color, but he's really a good guy, and he's got some nice work, and you'll see some more of his work in the near future. The next one is the Tasmanian devil in the wild. This friend of mine who collects the Tasmanian devil, he collects them in the cartoon form, but I wanted to give him a little something extra to look at, so I painted the Tasmanian devil in the wild in his natural habitat in Australia, and I think it came out pretty nice. Okay, this is the depiction of an alpha male wolf in the wolf pack, and he's asserting his authority over a more submissive male, or in other words, teaching him a lesson that, look, I'm the boss, and you are second, or you're behind me. And that's how interesting their society is, that they're very intelligent, and the alpha male is not doing any harm to the other wolf, but he is letting them know and know in certain terms that I am the alpha male. The next one that we are going to move on to, it's actually a series of 3, but yet they're individual paintings. The first one I'll talk about is called First Contact. And this one is a view looking out over the ocean from the perspective of an African back in the 1400s. And as they look out over the horizon, and if you'll look into the painting, you'll see 3 ships coming over the horizon. And these are Portuguese slave ships. And of course, the African that's looking out, of course, he doesn't know the horror that's yet to come, but we, of course, know. And I purposely made the painting and gave it a beautiful sunrise with out over the ocean, the water's crashing on the waves, and the colors are really nice with the sun. And I did that to give the feeling that as you're standing there on the shore, you say, wow, this is really a beautiful day. But they just don't understand what's about to transpire. Once these ships come to land, the day is not going to be so pretty. And so that's where that came from. I like to, for my paintings, to say something, to start a conversation. The next one is called Universal Element. And this one, there's a lot of things going on in there. Some might say it's too much going on in there, but the thing that I wanted to say with this is that everything in the universe is related. That's where universal elements comes from. There's an elemental table, there's ancient fungus, there's RNA, DNA, there's the semen and the egg, planets being born out of what could be the mouth of God. There's a whale, there's ants, there's bees, there are pyramids, there are creatures that are walking through space that we may not have seen yet, but they, again, may be out there. They may be part of the 5th dimension that we don't know about. Also, there's the Garden of Eden, there's the snake from the Garden of Eden. So there's a lot of things, and you really have to kind of look closely. And then I did the, representation of African cloth, the black and white, the tan and black. So just to add a little more intrigue to it, there's cave paintings from I think it's cave paintings from France. There's red blood cells. There's all different types of things in there. And that brings us to abstract revelations. Now, if you look at the painting Abstract Revelations, of course, hopefully you'll recognize Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, the First Lady and the President of the United States. And the reason I called this Abstract Revelations, let me explain. If you look in the left-hand corner, you'll see the painting or a small corner of First Contact in that painting. Then on the right side, there's a small portion of Universal Elements. And the reason I added these two in this particular picture, for one, I wanted to fill in the blank space, but I wanted to look like it was more of a family, home setting, casual, so I put my paintings in their house. But it has a deeper meaning. Abstract Revelations means that from the first contact that we had with Europeans to universal elements, that everything in the universe is related, to the abstract revelation that no one would have dreamed in their right mind that the leaders of the free world would be African Americans or of African descent. And it brings us from that time of first contact all the way to the abstract revelation that, in fact, they are leaders of the free world, whether some like it or not. I know people have issues and different perspectives with their political affiliations, but they are our leaders, and they are good people. I wanted to show them in a family setting, and I enjoy doing it.